The flashlight trembles as it slices through the darkness beneath the wooden house. Milo, a small brown dog, presses against the foundation wall, eyes wide with fear. Across from him, a shadowed shape coils, scales glinting faintly in the beam. Something long, powerful, and watchful. 18 inches separate life from whatever waits in the shadows. Milo whimpers, paw twitching. The air seems to thrum with menace. A hit's cut through the crawl space, vibrating through the wooden floor. The rescue team leader freezes, metal hook poised. Every instinct screams that one wrong move could change everything. Above, the villagers hold their breath. 9-year-old Aaron grips the porch railing, tears streaking his dirt-stained cheeks. "Please, don't let him die," he whispers, voice barely audible. The words float in the air, fragile and urgent, as if even sound could be dangerous here. Dust drifts from the beam, falling slowly into the narrow beam of light. Shadows twist across walls, hiding shapes just beyond vision. The rescuer shifts, heart hammering, aware that something in this tight, dark space is watching, calculating. In villages like this one, dogs are more than companions. They are family, guardians, witnesses to the world's quiet dangers. And tonight, that world feels impossibly close. A single breath stretches. The air is heavy with tension, thick as smoke. Tiny sounds, the scrape of a paw, a hiss, the whisper of the wind echo like warnings. And then the question hangs, unspoken but impossible to ignore. How far would you go, crawling into darkness, to face what waits unseen? Share it in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Just 20 minutes earlier, the village of Nalyamada had been bathing itself in the soft colors of dusk. Children kicked a deflated soccer ball between narrow houses, their laughter echoing across the dirt lanes. Grandmothers called from doorways, voices warm with routine. Chickens scattered at the sudden shadow of dogs chasing invisible prey. In the air, carried the comforting scent of wood smoke and curry leaves, settling over everything like a familiar blanket. Aaron sat on his family's front steps, breaking apart leftover chapati for Milo. The golden brown dog sat patiently, tail wagging, eyes locked on each fallen crumb. They had found each other 2 years ago, Milo abandoned, starving, and small enough to fit in the palm of Aaron's hand. Aaron had begged his parents to let him keep the dog, promising to share his own food and promising that Milo would be safe. "You and me, right, boy?" Aaron whispered, scratching behind Milo's ears. The dog leaned into the touch, devotion shining in every wag of his tail. The last rays of sunlight painted the wooden house in gold, and for a moment the world felt small, simple, and safe. Then Milo stiffened, his eyes pricked, head tilting. Something stirred near the side of the house. Maybe a rat, maybe a lizard, maybe something else. Before Aaron could stop him, Milo bounced off the porch, paws kicking up dust, disappearing around the corner. "Milo!" Aaron called, but the sound seemed swallowed by the evening. He waited, straining for the familiar slap of paws or the bark that meant his best friend had found a prize. Instead, a whimper reached him, faint, desperate, unlike anything Milo had ever made before. Aaron's bare feet pounded the packed earth as he ran towards the sound. It came from beneath the house, from the crawl space where the wooden structure rose on concrete blocks. Dropping to his knees, he pressed his face close to the opening. "Milo?" he whispered. Two shapes moved in the half-light, frozen in a terrible stillness. Milo pressed against the far wall, trembling, and between him and freedom, a long coiled shadow with hood flaring, a head weaving back and forth like a deadly pendulum. Aaron's scream shattered the peaceful evening. "Help! Somebody help!" His voice cracked as he scrambled backward. Eyes fixed on the coiled snakes writhing in the crawl space. Windows opened. Doors slammed. Neighbors poured out, shouting a mix of fear and advice. "Don't go near it! Call the snake catchers! Get the boy back!" Mrs. Reddy, standing next door, fumbled for her phone, hands shaking. She'd heard of a rescue team in the nearby town, men who risked their lives removing snakes from homes. The thought of waiting made her chest tighten. "Please come quickly," she pleaded into the phone. "It's a cobra, big one, and there's a dog trapped." 20 minutes. That was all they could give. 20 minutes for a 9-year-old to watch his best friend face something that could strike without warning. 20 minutes for the unknown to decide. By the time motorcycle headlights cut through the darkness, silence had fallen beneath the house. Milo's whimpering had stopped, and in the animal kingdom, silence is rarely a good sign. The rescue team killed their engine, the sudden silence settling over the village like a warning. Ravi and Kumar stepped forward, two men in their 40s carrying a canvas bag of hooks, tongs, and cloth sacks. No protective suit, no high-tech gear, just decades of experience and steady hands that had stared death in the face more times than either could count. Ravi knelt at the opening of the crawl space, shining his flashlight into the darkness. His jaw tightened. He had seen hundreds of snakes, but never one like this. Its hood flared nearly 6 inches wide, hissing that filed the cramped space like steam escaping from a boiling kettle. Every shadow seemed to shift, every creak of the wooden beams echoing danger. "Jesus!" Kumar muttered behind him, voice low. "Look at the size of that thing!" The crawl space allowed just enough room to crawl but little else. Wooden beams crisscrossed the dirt floor like jagged teeth, and debris littered every corner. Bricks, rusted tools, scraps of wood. One wrong move, one misjudged step, and the snake could strike in an instant. Aaron pushed through the gathering villagers. Dirt streaked across his face, tears glistening in the fading light. "Is Milo okay? Can you see him?" His voice trembled, fierce with panic. Ravi glanced at the boy. Milo trembled in the shadows, sides heaving, eyes wide, but the dog had yet to be bitten. "Your dog is alive," Ravi said quietly, voice low but firm. "Step back. This is dangerous." The words hit like ice, dangerous for the rescuers, for the dog, for everyone if the cobra lashed out. "Is it worth it?" Mr. Krishnan, a local shopkeeper, demanded, voice tight with logic and fear. "Risking human lives for a dog?" "That's just not a dog," Aaron shouted. "He's my family." "The boy's right," Mrs. Reddy said firmly. "Milo deserves a chance. He hasn't hurt anyone." Other faces shifted with doubt. The cobra could kill a man in minutes. 40 minutes to the nearest hospital could stretch into eternity if the venom struck. Ravi ignored the chatter, focusing on the crawl space. This was what he trained for. Sometimes it was simple, a harmless rat snake in someone's kitchen. Sometimes it was this. He stripped off his shirt, flattened himself against the hard, cold earth, and began to crawl forward. The flashlight beam quivered ahead of him, catching the snake's unblinking eyes. "If something happens to me in there," he said to Kumar, Don't come after me. Get everyone back and call for backup. Kumar nodded grimly. They both understood the stakes: cramped space, limited mobility, venom that worked faster than any rescue could intervene. 3 feet from the entrance, dust stirred with each careful movement, tiny particles drifting in the beam. The cobra's tongue flicked, tasting the air, testing him. 2 feet, its head swayed hypnotically, body coiled tight. Ravi could hear the scrape of his scales over debris, a metallic whisper that made his pulse spike. 1 foot. The patterns on its scales were intricate, almost intelligent, as if the snake recognized the intruder's intent. Every muscle in Ravi's body tensed. The hook felt impossibly heavy, every second stretching like a rope ready to snap. A sudden rustle to his left. A brick shifted beneath the weight of unseen debris. The cobra twitched, hissing sharper. A warning shot that reverberated against the wooden beams. Ravi froze. Tiny particles of dust floated in the air like sparks. Behind him, Aaron's ragged breaths cut through the night. Villagers whispered prayers. The air was thick, oppressive, each heartbeat loud enough to echo in the crawl space. Ravi inched closer, just inches from Milo. The dog's brown eyes reflected fear, confusion, and an unspoken plea. The cobra's hood flared again, and the heat from its coiled body pressed into the narrow space like a living wall. Ravi adjusted his grip, feeling the weight of every second. One wrong twitch, one miscalculation, and the venom would strike faster than he could react. Every sense sharpened: the hiss, the smell of dust and damp earth, the scrape of scales on wood. His heart pounded. He had to be patient, precise. The cobra's intelligence was evident, every movement calculated, every pause deliberate. The tiniest sound could provoke it. In that moment, the scene became a test of courage, experience, and nerves. The line between life and death was thinner than the beam of his flashlight. 1 inch at a time, one measured movement, one silent prayer at a time, Ravi advanced. The villagers watched, frozen. Aaron's hands clenched the dirt beneath him. Behind the calm exterior, Ravi felt the weight of every decision, the responsibility of every life in that small, suffocating space. One misstep, and there would be no turning back. And still, inch by inch, he moved closer to the creature, to the dog, to the impossible. The world contracted to the space of a single heartbeat. Ravi's pulse thundered in his ears as he pressed forward, the hook trembling in his hand. Inches from his face, the cobra's head swayed like a deadly pendulum. Hood flared, fangs bared in a silent challenge. Heat radiated off its coiled body, filling the narrow crawl space with menace. Behind him, Kumar crouched at the opening, hook poised, muscle coiled like springs, ready to assist or, if the worst happened, to pull his partner's body out. The villagers had gone still, silence heavy and tense. Aaron, frozen in the packed earth, barely breathed, eyes wide with terror and hope. Ravi exhaled slowly, one move at a time. Every inch mattered. He extended the hook towards the cobra's midsection. Simple in theory, impossible in practice. Pin the head, control the body, guide it away from the dog. The moment steel touched the scales, the snake erupted. Fangs clicked against metal, striking faster than thought. Ravi jerked back, scraping his shoulders against the low beams. Dust rose in motes swirling like sparks in the flashlight beam. For a heartbeat, the cobra paused, measuring its prey. Easy, Ravi whispered, more to steady himself than to warm the snake. He tried again from a different angle. Another strike missed by inches. Milo pressed deeper into the corner, whining softly, a sound that cut through Ravi's focus like a knife. The dog seemed to understand that its fate hung in the balance of his deadly chess game. Kumar leaned closer. Ravi, I can't get a second hook. Distracted while you... No, Ravi hissed. Too crowded. One wrong move, we're both dead. But then, a spark of strategy struck. Distraction. Timing. If he could divert the cobra's attention just long enough. Kumar, he whispered, voice taut. Tap the side of the foundation, hard when I say now. Kumar nodded, fists trembling, and pressed against the concrete block. Ravi's breath shortened, inches away from the dog. He steadied the hook, eyes locked on the snake's glinting scales. He could feel every muscle in the beast coiled like a spring, ready to strike at the slightest provocation. Now, he shouted. A fist slammed against the concrete. The sound reverberated through the crawl space like a gunshot. The cobra's head snapped towards the noise, just for a split second. That split second was everything. Ravi lunged, bare hands extended, fingers closing around Milo's collar. The dog struggled, pressed against coils of danger. The cobra whipped back, fangs flashing, snapping closer than his forearm. Dust stung Ravi's eyes, sweat ran down his brow, but his grip did not falter. Milo was his focus. Life was his focus. Ravi yanked the dog backward. The cobra struck empty air, fangs grazing fabric. A metallic scrape that made his stomach knot. He stumbled, dragging Milo towards the opening. Behind them, the debris shifted, dust clouds rising. A brick loosened by the struggle teetered above, threatening to tumble. Got him, Ravi shouted, voices raw with relief. Kumar snatched Milo and pulled him to safety. The villagers erupted to cheers, cries, and laughter, faces lit by the motorcycle headlights, reflecting hope in the dusty air. Aaron collapsed, wrapping his arms around Milo, burying his face in fur, tears streaking both faces. But the celebration was premature. Ravi was still inside the crawl space, heart hammering, hook lost. The cobra coiled between him and freedom, hoods flaring, eyes unblinking, focused entirely on the man who had just taken its cornered prey. The narrow beams of light cut across its scales, reflecting in patterns that made it seem almost alive, almost thinking. Time slowed, every breath, every heartbeat stretched. Ravi felt the weight of the world pressing down in that confined space. The roof low, debris sharp, wood brittle. Any wrong movement could trigger disaster. The cobra shifted, muscles rippling, fangs glinting. Dust and the metallic smell of disturbed earth filled Ravi's nose. He inched backward, keeping his weight low. Hook useless now, only instinct guiding him. Milo's whimper echoed in his mind, a tether to the outside, a reminder of why he could not fail. He could hear the soft scrape of scales against dirt, the slight vibrations of the floorboards, the whispered prayer of Aaron and the villagers above. Ravi reached a beam, bracing himself. The cobra lunged, fangs aimed at his arm. Reflex, muscle memory, and desperation fused. He twisted, letting the strike graze air, missing by millimeters. Dust rose in a cloud, vision blurred, heart hammering. He scanned for another route, any opening, any weak spots in the snake's coiled body. The air was thick, every sound amplified, a clink of debris, a faint hiss, the scrape of scales. Ravi's mind sharpened. He felt fear, but more than fear, focus, strategy. The calm in the chaos that only decades of training could forge. And still, the Cobra was patient, poised, waiting for him to make a mistake. The crawl space seemed smaller now, every shadow a threat. Ravi's muscles screamed, adrenaline coursing through every fiber. He could not let the snake strike, could not let Milo be in danger again. Inch by inch he repositioned, anticipating, reading, reacting. One wrong move and, sometimes, in the space between heartbeats, survival is less about luck and more about courage, timing, and a single perfectly executed decision. Ravi's eyes locked on the next opening, the next moment, the next possibility. The real rescue, the one that would test everything, was just beginning. The crawl space felt smaller than ever. Ravi's chest pressed against the hard dirt, every muscle taut, every nerve alive. The cobra, deprived of its original prey, had turned its full attention to him. Its hood flared wide, fangs gleaming in the flickering beam of his flashlight. Hissing filled the confined space, a low vibrating threat that seemed to seep into his bones. Above ground, Kumar's breath came shallow and fast. He could hear Ravi's labored exhalations, the rasps of movement in the darkness, the faint scrape of claws against debris. "Ravi," he called softly, voice barely above a whisper. "Talk to me." "I'm okay," Ravi replied, voice tight, controlled. "But I need the second hook, and I need you to follow my instructions exactly." Kumar grabbed the backup hook, eyes scanning the opening nervously. The villagers pressed close, curiosity battling fear, but Mrs. Reddy held them back, sensing the peril in a way only instinct could. One wrong sound, and it would all be over. "The cobra is about 4 feet from me," Ravi whispered, voice low, coiled tight. "When I say go, slide the hook in slowly. Aim for the ground 2 feet to my left. Don't try to pin it, just give it something else to focus on." "What are you going to do?" Kumar asked, tension sharp in his voice. "Move very, very slowly in the opposite direction. Inch by inch. Patience. Timing. That's all we have." The plan was desperate, born from necessity. No textbook maneuver could account for the tight crawl space, the agitated predator, or the dog's safety. Ravi exhaled, steadying himself, eyes locked on the snake. Ready, ready, go. The hook slid into the crawl space with a soft scrape, dirt dust puffing around its tip. The cobra's head snapped towards the noise. Its tongue flicked rapidly, tasting, assessing. The instant attention was diverted. Ravi began his retreat. Not a hurried scramble, but a painstakingly slow crawl. Every inch deliberate, every shift measured. Wooden beams scraped against his back. Debris snagged his clothing. The dirt floor was uneven and littered with jagged fragments. The cobra followed, coiled muscles rippling, eyes unblinking, fangs glinting like needles in the muted lights. "Nice and easy," Kumal whispered, voice calm, anchoring Ravi to patience. 3 feet from freedom, air brushing his ankles, the faint scent of night smoke and earth reaching him. He could hear Aaron whispering encouragement above, Milo's soft whines tugging at his resolve. 2 feet. The cobra shifted, coiling tighter, tongue flicking faster. It smelled his fear but also tested his movement. 1 inch wrong, one flick too sudden, and the strike could find him. 1 foot. His hand brushed the edge of the opening. Relief burned hot and cold at the same time. The cobra struck, not at Rabbi, but at the retreating hook. Its fangs clanked against the metal, body writhing with frustrated rage. Dust swirled in the air, tiny particles stinging eyes, coating sweat-slick skin. The scrape echoed like a bell of warning. Ravi's chance came in milliseconds. The snake's attention wavered. He exploded backward, adrenaline propelling him towards the entrance. Kumar's hand gripped his shoulder, hauling him into the cool night air. The cobra recoiled, repeating in the shadows, still coiled, still dangerous, but defeated in this encounter. Ravi gasped, rolling into his back, chest rising and falling like a bellows. Sweat streamed down his face, hands shaking so violently he could barely hold the flashlight. "Are you hurt?" Kumar demanded, scanning for bite marks, panic and relief colliding in his tone. "No," Ravi rasped, voice hoarse. Just give me a moment." The villagers erupted, cheers and applause ringing through the night. Aaron fell to his knees, wrapping himself around Milo, sobs mixing with laughter and relief. Milo, still trembling, nuzzled Ravi, eyes wide with trust, tail wagging with exhaustion of survival. But Ravi's mind lingered on the shadows below. The cobra, though retreating, remained a threat until secured. Every inch of the crawl space was a reminder that danger lingered where visibility failed. "We're not done yet," Ravi said, pushing himself to his feet, muscles trembling but resolve firm. "We still have to get the snake out safely." For the next hour, inch by careful inch, Ravi and Kumar guided the cobra with long-handled hooks and patient maneuvering. The snake, exhausted from its own rage, offered minimal resistance. Dust rose in clouds as it was finally coaxed into a cloth sack. When secured, Kumar carried it miles away into the forest, where it could live undisturbed. Only then did Ravi allow himself to breathe fully, the adrenaline fading into a trembling exhaustion that left him both elated and utterly spent. Aaron approached, hands clutched around something small. "Sir," he said softly, "I don't have money, but I want you to have this." He handed over a rough-hewn wooden carving of a dog, lovingly shaped, imperfect, but full of meaning. Ravi took it, throat tight. "This is worth more than money, son. Thank you." As the motorcycles disappeared into the night, the village returned to quiet, but the story of courage, fear, and triumph would echo for generations. For Aaron and Milo, the night had been one of terror, and one that proved love and bravery could overcome even the most dangerous of challenges. Even as the dust settled, Ravi knew heroism was measured not just by survival, but by courage to face the darkness and to bring others back into the light. Dawn spilled over Nalyamada, golden light streaking across the rooftops and catching the dust still clinging to Milo's fur. The dog pressed close to Aaron's side, tail thumping against the wooden porch in a rhythm that matched the boy's own heartbeats. For a moment, it felt as though the world had paused, honoring the night that had passed, the darkness they had survived. Word of the rescue had already spread, whispers and messages carrying the tale to neighboring villages. But for Aaron, the story wasn't about gossip. It was about Milo and the men who had crawled into the shadows to bring him back. "You're not leaving my side today," Aaron whispered, scratching behind Milo's ears. The dog leaned into him, eyes bright, as if he understood every word. "Maybe not ever again." His mother appeared, carrying a length of bright red silk. Without a word, she tied it around Milo's neck like a badge of honor. Sunlight struck it, making the fabric glow, a symbol of survival and protection. "Red is for protection," she explained, her voice carrying the weight of the fear she had felt. "And for survival, he earned it." Neighbors trickled onto the porch, drawn by curiosity and concern. Children who had played soccer near the crawl space the night before now stared at it with wide-eyed caution. Parents inspected foundations, imagining what might hide in the shadows. Mrs. Reddy collected a small sum for the rescue team, explaining that it wasn't the money, it was gratitude. Even Mr. Krishnan, the shopkeeper who had questioned when risking lives for a dog was worth it, appeared carrying a small bag of treats. "For Milo," he muttered, looking away. I was wrong. Family is family." The afternoon brought a reporter, camera in hand, snapping photos of Milo glowing red cloth and Aaron's solemn expression. "Why do you think they risk so much for him?" she asked. Aaron's young face scrunched in thought. "Because love doesn't have boundaries," he said finally. "Milo loves me, I love him. When someone you care about is in trouble, you don't ask if they're worth saving, you just save them." Even as the reporter scribbled notes, the boy's words hung in the air. The true story wasn't in the photographs or the quotes. It was in the bond, the quiet courage, the heartbeat of a community that had watched, waited, and cheered in silence. 3 days later, Ravi received a call that changed his perspective. A wildlife conservation organization wanted him and Kumar on staff, offering better equipment, pay, and support. "We need people like you," the caller said. "People who understand that every life has value, no matter how small." Ravi agreed, but only on one condition. The organization would fund village education programs on how to coexist safely with snakes and other wildlife. "Prevention is better than rescue," he explained. "If we can stop these situations before they happen, everyone benefits, humans and animals alike." Months later, asked why he risked everything for a dog, Ravi's answer was simple, almost quiet. To that boy, that dog wasn't just a pet. It was family. Family is worth everything. But more than that, we are all connected. When we choose compassion over indifference, when we crawl into darkness to bring someone back into the light, we're not just saving them, we're saving something essential in ourselves. The story traveled far beyond Nalyamado, appearing in newspapers and on social media. Yet, its deepest impact lives in small moments. Aaron, confident that help arrives when it matters most. Milo, wearing his red silk like armor. Villagers learning that heroism doesn't require fame, only courage and care. Years later, as Aaron and a graying Milo sat on the same porch at sunset, dust motes dancing in golden light, the memory of that night lingered. The crawl space beneath the house was quiet, but their hearts remembered. Darkness had almost claimed them, But strangers became heroes. A community chose love over fear, and an ordinary boy learned that some bonds are stronger than death itself. In Nalyamada, the story became a quiet legend, a reminder that courage is contagious, compassion has no boundaries, and everyday heroes are often the ones willing to crawl into darkness so someone else can see the light. Everyday heroes are all around us.